Today on the Life Surfing Podcast. Be aware of your feelings as well as feelings from others.
And it's a process because it is like many habits, many attitudes, many beliefs, and also the undercurrent desires, dreams, expectations, fears, which are all working in each moment.
And consciously reconsider.
The more we start reconsidering, because many things we have heard and at certain stage we are not open for it, we are not capable to understand, we are not ready to receive it. But as your understanding deepens, as you're ripening in life, and life brings you into situations where you have the possibility to reconsider things. Yeah.
I am happy that you are back safely.
I'm happy too. Because every step in life is also an adventure. And when you look at it, and in a relative level, one cannot take anything for granted. So it is beautiful that life supports us in so many ways that we are still able to manage and be in the so-called normal life. One of the very basic factors which we need to keep in our consideration is don't try to change yourself. Instead, allow a deeper understanding to happen. And the second thing is, if you ask the question why, you go in the logical mind. But if you start asking what is happening, then you come to the present. And this is very valuable when you can see this differentiation and begin to slowly, playfully, without any effort to reach a quick goal, move in this direction. And it's a process because it is like many habits, many attitudes, many beliefs, and also the undercurrent desires, dreams, expectations, fears, which are all working in each moment. So, to be able to give the energy a clear and healthy direction is a process which we have to slowly allow. And it is possible because when you are ready to take the responsibility, when you want to understand, when you are not running away from it, then slowly you start noticing things. Slowly it becomes more transparent to you that, hey, this is how it is interconnected. These are the factors which are working. So, accept yourself and start looking what is happening. And so that means not trying to change yourself, not trying to force anything, but being like a mother who wants to understand the child who is making all noise, running around and screaming and shouting. But the mother is trying to look at what is going on with the child. And in this case, in understanding yourself, you have to go beyond the why into asking what, because the why will give you more engagement for the logical mind. But when you say, okay, what is happening? So you are not only looking at how it looks and some explanation for it, but you are being with the energy process. You are being open to connect to the wholeness of the situation. That is why this shift from why to what is very, very important. And then see that we are in a process of life where it is not like switching on and switching off a machine or a switch for a light. It is, although it is called enlightenment, but enlightenment is like sunrise. Slowly the sun comes. You cannot put on the switch and say, now come sun, rise. You have to wait. You have to watch. Sometimes there are clouds in the bottom layer. And you have to go on waiting. And you have to watch your impatience. You have to watch the hurry and the tension which you are feeling. And the pain you are having in that moment when you have to wait for all that. So it is accepting yourself with everything. And being a friend to yourself in this way, bring attention to these processes. And that is when you start seeing, okay, when you don't fight with it, when you don't go with it blindly, something undercurrently is happening. That is, the automatic grip of these patterns in the energy flow is disrupted. That means when you just watch without doing anything, but just watch and be wakeful, then you notice that you are not getting more and more pulled into these negative processes. Your energy is becoming free. And a moment will come where you can see the interconnected factors more clearly and deeply. And that is very important. And that is what makes the big difference. That is what enables you as a human being to go beyond the past, to go beyond the burdens, to go beyond the pain, to go beyond suffering, and above all to go beyond anger, hate, revengefulness, and realize that in just looking and being with the moment, by being present to this what is going on right now, you are able to allow a deeper response to happen through you. It's not that you are trying to manage something. See the difference. When you are in this quality, you notice that something is becoming more conscious to you, more transparent to you. And then out of this transparency, some steps becomes possible. So it is not that you are trying to manage it, or I want to get it done like this, I want to have it quick. Or you see, you are not getting trapped in the so-called I when you are just with the present in a wakeful way. This is a very important thing. Our real trap is in the idea that I am separate from the whole. That is our whole conditioning, that is our past. And in a way, that is what every child first gets into to be able to grow roots into the game of the world. It's told that you are so-and-so age. The parents give a child a name. You are told that you are from this family, you are from this country, you are from this religion. And that is how the child gets an identity. And every child needs it in some extent or other. But the important thing is when it becomes somewhere conscious and clear to you that that is not my true reality. What I see through this past is only my projection through my conditioning. And that gives you the chance, that gives you the capacity not to identify with these reactions which come up, but watch it, be present to it. And being watchful, present, your vision opens up. You start seeing more than what is apparently coming into your normal visibility when you are only projecting through your conditioned past. So, deep within, as much as possible, accept yourself, respect yourself with all that is, and don't try to force a change. And with this orientation, continue. And then you will also see life is supporting you. Sometimes our concern for the other and feeling the other is important, because that is how we get to understand the situation more deeply. But when it goes in an unconscious and automatic level, then we start suffering from it. So this is the paradox. On one side, we have to consciously be vulnerable so that we are not taking up everything from the surroundings blindly in, identifying with it and fall into the pain and suffering. That is why a real openness to life is only possible when you are also bringing consciousness into the moment. So accept all that what you feel, all that what is arising in you, and look at it all as deeply as you can in the moment without identifying with it. That is why I use this expression, life surfing, because it simply means being like the surfer who is on the surfboard. He's not trying to settle, he's not trying to control in a permanent level. He's aware that he has to be every moment with the newness of the moment, with the developments which are coming unexpectedly. The wind can come from one side, the waves can be stronger, weaker, there can be other kind of influences when a ship is going by or when a bigger boat is going by. And then suddenly you realize that, oh, you have to be with everything. So the surfer is going with the remembrance that I have no motor, I'm not trying to force anything, I have to go on being present. So it is a certain acceptance of life and combining it with a quality of playfulness. And this is what you have to bring as an orientation from moment to moment. Also just this moment when you are listening, look what is all coming up in you. Accept yourself. Don't identify with it. We are used to identifying with it. That is our unconscious automatic process. We identify with the reactions, we identify with the feelings and all that what comes up. But when you are just watching it, you are also taking the step to go beyond the identification. So consciously not identifying, be present, be as much wakeful. And then remember in the back of your mind, life is supporting you. Whether you call it life supporting or the Creator supporting or the mystery supporting, whatever way you want to call it. If somebody wants to call it God, somebody wants to call it Allah, somebody wants to call it Tao, somebody wants to call it the deeper nature. These are all words. But you have to allow the remembrance to come in your life that you are part of something deeper. That's why I use the expression which everybody can connect to more often, the wondrous basis of our nature. Nature is a more neutral word, so you don't put it in some kind of problematic way easily. And it is a wondrous nature. And the more deeply you consider it, the more you realize that it is a miraculous process. It is a magnificent process. And we are here every moment because this intelligence, this fantasy, this creative basis which is behind all this has prepared the ground, prepared the framework for life to manifest in this way, with all the diversity, with all the colorfulness, with all the playfulness, with all the beauty. So when it comes to your own notice, then it becomes more and more a quality of trust. It's not believing that life will do according to you what you want or this or that. It's noticing that there is a care, there is a support, Again, don't just believe all these things and settle with an idea in the head alone. Let it become your experiential understanding. When you bring awareness, go in a conscious vulnerability to face life, then you will also notice and feel what one can also call the divine grace. I like the German expression more because that is more directly touching it. Gnade. It is a very, very valuable remembrance to have, that we are supported to be here in so many visible and invisible ways. And sometimes the support we need is not always being sweet and kind with our idea of how it should be. Sometimes it's a little bit shaking up. Sometimes it's putting cold water. That is part of the game. That is why I remind that look at life in this way. You have friendly friends and unfriendly friends. So from your side, you are looking at everyone as a friend. But when you go with wakefulness, you will see that you need both. Somebody is not understanding, somebody is not kind to you, somebody is, for whatever their reason, whatever they may say is the purpose of it. They are the way they are, but you have the possibility to look what is touched in you, what is happening in you when somebody is like that. Somebody is unfriendly, somebody is for no reason being upset with you or putting you down. And naturally, especially when there is no reason and you have the feeling that I am right, I have all the reason to defend myself, I have all the reason to give one hit back. That is again an automatic reaction. Don't go blindly into all that. Watch all that and then look what is a creative, compassionate, intelligent answer in this moment. And when you are going in this conscious way, you will see that it is not any negativity directed towards anybody. Even if sometimes you may have to hit somebody, but you will not hit out of anger or hate or revengefulness. You will hit maybe just to say, hey, what are you doing? Are you not in your senses? But when you are not hateful, then the other may also get the clue. The other may feel supported through that. Again, whatever you are responding in such a situation, whatever way you are responding, it is through a wakeful, conscious connection to that what is taking place really in you. And that is why your energy is not scattered, you are not in fight with yourself. It becomes an answer from the wholeness of your inner reality. So this is the orientation, this is the direction. And as I again and again remind, go playfully, although you have to be earnestly, sincerely with it, but go in a non-fighting approach. And that is how you realize it is a very subtle way of tuning into the nature of our reality.
Did you already know that besides the life surfing seminars, workshops, and talks, you can also book individual sessions with Bhashkar directly in person or over Zoom?
For that, please contact Nora under the email address or over the phone 0497617 09665. In case you want to write an email, you find the email address in the podcast description.
Get ready for the day with life surfing on your way.
Again, it is starting with
Preventing entanglements.
our limitation and the limitation of the other.
For fewer remorses later on.
It's not to point fingers at anybody. It's more to really see and understand how nature is working in us.
Helping you to build and maintain an inner balance with the unique life surfing vision.
This will help you to become more clear, more free, and live in a balanced way, in an intelligent way.
Discover the hidden source of joy. A life surfing online seminar with Bhashkar. Now exclusive on Udemy.
Any other question or anything else in anyone who is participating from here or participating from elsewhere?
Sometimes I hear, or it's also written in the Bible, in these 10 demands, or I don't know to say it in
10 Commandments, you mean?
Love yourself like you love the others. Yeah. When one reads it or listens to it, it sounds so, oh yeah, just love yourself, love others. But it, in the impact is not that easy
To realize.
to realize. Yeah. Can you say something about this?
It is in everything in life. The more we start reconsidering, because many things we have heard and at certain stage we are not open for it, we are not capable to understand, we are not ready to receive it. But as your understanding deepens, as you're ripening in life, and life brings you into situations where you have the possibility to reconsider things. That is why I was bringing out a small booklet with the title Reconsider, Consciously Reconsider the Good and the Bad. Because when you start considering, you start penetrating deeper and deeper into the nature of the reality. For example, then suddenly you realize good and the bad are orientation, but what is good in one moment can be bad in another moment. What is good, if you overdo that, even with simple example, if some food is there which is considered healthy and life supportive and finest quality, but if you take too much of it, it can make you sick. And if you look in every area of life, you will start seeing that it is on general orientation, but you have to look at it in each moment. What is good now? It is not following something from the head, and it is not just the doing, it is not the activity. It is what is undercurrently behind the action, and if the action is connected with conscious awareness of the nature of the moment, nature of the reality now. So that is what makes the big difference. In India, there is a very interesting reminder for the people who are reading the scriptures. For example, Ramayana is one of the scriptures from the Hindu background. And they have a word, Ramayana Parayan. It's not just reading. It is like reading a few lines, a paragraph maybe, and you wait. And you read it once more. And next day also you do the same thing. The same what one has been reading previous day, you read it once more and again. And so they are not just trying to quickly finish the book, they are trying to feel it, allow it to sink into oneself. The simple example which one can understand very easily here is those who are in so-called connoisseur of wine, those who are into tasting the wine. They just take one little sip and then they make all this, feel it, and then they take another sip. Very small sips, just they're not trying to get drunk, they're only trying to feel it, taste it. And then it's a different experiencing of the moment, of the reality of it. And it is so also with words. If you consider words, you will see that words are not the truth, words are not the reality. Words are attempts to share an experience, especially in the deeper areas. When it is connected with practical functioning, with the repairing of a machine, or doing certain cleaning work, then it's more easy. But when it comes to deeper experiences, anything which requires careful consideration, then it's a different issue. Then you have to look what is meant with it. And so it is with the word love. The word love means for different people very different experiences. Some have been suffering from being with the idea of love. There had been painful experiences. They were falling in love and something happened, or they were not loved enough from the parents or from the family members, and according to them, they didn't get enough, and they are always looking for love, wanting to be loved. So, the more you start looking and considering, the more it becomes transparent to you that life is deeper, life is more complex. And one cannot reduce everything into some words and say that, okay, now I have it. This is the famous factor which is coming in the statement of the great Chinese mystic Lao Tse, where he refused to write a book. The emperor was very appreciative of Lao Tse and was asking him again and again, please write a book, because all what you are saying is so significant, so valuable for us. Lao Tse said, no, the reality cannot be reduced to words, and there is danger in it. So he did not write a book until the point where he was saying that now my time has come to leave this body. I will go to the mountains and leave the body there. When the emperor heard of this, he sent a message to all the border posts saying that Lao Tse can be allowed to cross the border to the mountains only when he writes a book. So that is the background story of this book, Tao Te King. And he wrote the book in that way. And the first sentence in Tao Te King is, the truth cannot be said, and that what is said is a lie. What is he saying? And then he writes the book with so much beautiful reminders and insights. But he wants everybody to be aware that don't hold to the words. The words are a very helpless effort to put something in words which cannot be reduced to words. So that is with all the scriptures. That is why people who are holding to the scriptures and become knowledgeable and starts arguing and fighting in the name of the scriptures, they are all missing the point. Because if they really understand what is meant with it, there will be no violence, there will be no hate, there will be no revengefulness. But when you don't understand it in a direct experiential way, everybody make their own idea of these words, and in the name of God, in the name of religion, so many fights are happening, so many wars are happening, so much suffering is brought about. So it is very, very important to realize that one has to approach the words with very much alertness and look what is indicated. The scriptures, they are given in the spirit of love. But unless you also approach it with that sensibility and with that care, with that gracefulness, trying to understand what is indicated, what is meant with it, then staying with it more and more, your understanding will deepen. For example, when you are loving your neighbor as you love yourself, or being kind to the other as you are kind to yourself, first of all, you have to ask yourself, am I kind to myself? Am I loving to myself? And what is lovingness? What does it mean to be loving? Does it mean that I accept myself with everything and I don't bother about what others say? Or I don't care about what others feel? Or is it much, much more? So loving yourself in a conscious way becomes a sympathetic, compassionate way of considering your situation, the situation of the other. This compassionate, sympathetic way of considering becomes the manifestation of love. That is why when you bring consciousness in your way of living and bring the attention to that what is taking place in you, it becomes a preparation for allowing love. That's why I'm not telling be loving to the others or being compassionate to anybody and all that, because it's not something which you manage from your head. It is something which will happen when you understand the situation, when you see the reality of it. And then your heart opens. And when your heart opens through your understanding and this feeling and the sensibility to the situation, that is love. And that will deepen. And you have to combine it with the consciousness process, because it is not just you are for one moment loving and then, oh, it's dangerous, it will create difficulties, so I don't want to go in that, I don't want to be loving to anybody because it brings maybe responsibilities to me, it can bring challenges. So the fears arise, the calculations arise, the clinging arises. You have to watch all that. And then look again, what is in this moment, what is in this situation, what is possible. So it is a kind of digging deeper into oneself. It's a way of discovering what all layers are there working in oneself. So reconsidering the scriptures in this way and trying to understand it from the sensibility of your heart becomes the orientation when you want to benefit from the scriptures.